welcome back to the Feminist Frame. This is our special Game of Obsessions edition, where every week we dive into each episode of the final season of Game of Thrones. I'm Aubrey, here with my co-host Olivia.
Hello.
And our Game of Thrones nerd friend Lauren.
Hello, hello.
This week we are here to cover episode 3, The Long Night. Spoiler alert, we will be discussing everything that has happened up to this point in the series, as well as throwing in our theories for how it all ends. So if you're not caught up, please bookmark this episode and come back later. So, getting into it, normally we talk about the episode somewhat chronologically, but we're just gonna dive in because motherfucking Arya saves the day.
Yes.
Baby girl. Oh my god. So...
It was such a lovely moment.
Oh, I jumped out of my chair.
Yeah,
screamed. We're all screaming. It was a very loud, thrilling event, for sure.
And, like, when he caught her, and I was like, wait, are they gonna... No, they can't. And, no. She got tricks. She's got tricks. She's been training for this.
Well, I first noticed, like, how quietly she was moving through the library, that they heard the drop of blood.
Right.
But they didn't hear her. So I was like, so of course she's gonna
sneaky.
be able to dance through those fucking trees.
Yeah, and it is kind of nice that, like, they've set it up to be Jon for so long, and to just have that kind of, like, subversion there was really satisfying, I thought.
I saw, like, I guess they're doing interviews, and there's, like, a meme. The memes are probably my favorite part about the post-show airing. Yeah. But they were doing interviews with folks, and I don't know, some guy, maybe the writer, one of the writers or something, was saying, I think Kit was okay with it, like, about Arya being the one who kills the Night King, and then you see the next scene is Kit Harington, and his quote is like, I was fucking pissed.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
so
funny.
Just like, I need to go find this interview.
Oh my God.
Because that's amazing.
There was an interview with Macy where she was, like, really nervous about it and was afraid all the fans would hate it. Mm-hmm. And,
well, just go to Twitter, honey. Like,
I know, right? Everybody's
blowing up
freaking
for
out.
Oh.
Yeah.
All of us. Have you guys seen that video when they were playing it in a bar?
Yeah,
like in London or something? And like the entire fucking everybody in the bar was just like,
I think that was doctored, but yes, I think I get the point.
That was their reaction to a sports game that they like put it over. Yeah.
I really wish they played it on that big of a screen somewhere. That would have been amazing. Because the reactions would have been the same, I feel.
Yeah, no, though. But I'm sure that was everyone's reactions around.
In their own mini theaters, in their own living rooms.
I did read that apparently, like, her boyfriend at the time was like, oh, it should be Jon. But they're not together anymore. I did some sleuthing on the internet. I'm like, you gotta dump this boy.
Yeah.
He's no good. No, it was so satisfying. That whole episode was, I don't know that I've ever felt that way watching something. Like, I don't know if a horror movie has gotten me that bad before. Like, I was, like, shrunken into a ball. Like, I needed a massage afterwards. It was crazy.
It was, I think, confusing at certain points because of, I mean, we've heard a lot about, like, the lighting of the show and everything. The parts that were driving me a little crazy were the dragon scenes at the beginning, where I guess they're caught in this, like, ice storm. Because at one point, I think somebody even asked, like, where are the dragons and why aren't they doing anything? I was like, well, it appears they're lost in a storm.
Yeah, there was
just
like a kind of a blizzard that came over. But actually, so a lot of people complain about that. I mean, you can just turn up the brightness on your TV.
I think we were just lucky enough to watch it on a good TV.
Yeah.
Because I didn't notice anything.
Mm-hmm. I really didn't think it was that bad. I thought, like, much like Battle of the Bastards, which is also directed by this director, Mikhail Sapochnik, it, like, is just chaos, because that's what a battle is. You know, you're supposed to be confused. You're supposed to not see what's going on, because that's what it feels like to be in the battle.
And I definitely think that it wasn't the, like, brightness for me. It was the, like, cloudiness, I guess, that like was frustrating for me to watch, like especially in those like dragon scenes.
But a lot of people
off.
were just like complaining about how dark it was generally, and I kind of was okay with that. I do think that probably part of what happened though is that when they edit this in post and do the color balance, that they're like doing it for those big premieres that they have with the cast, like at these beautiful theaters with like the best projectors in the world, and then everybody's watching at home like, what?
There was a point when the army's like moving in, you know, whenever the Dothraki go, and I was like squinting at the screen. I was like, am I supposed to be seeing anything right now, or is it all just clouded and mist?
See, that's again, that was on purpose. Like, I think that's just building
for sure,
tension,
and it was it was straining my eyes a little bit because I'm like, I don't think I'm supposed to see anything yet, but I really want to try.
I have to talk about that, like the very first opening sequence with the tracking shot on Sam as he's so nervous and everybody's getting ready, and then they follow him, and then they switch to Tyrion, and like Tyrion just looks very like ominous and foreboding. Like he does not look like he thinks it's gonna go well. It just, all of that setup just made it like more and more and more tense.
Sam's, I don't understand why Sam's still alive. We can get to that later, but like, there's no way.
I actually feel that way about quite a few people.
I would love to talk about the survival chances of many folks in this show.
I woke up to a lot of text messages on Monday, but one of them being from one of our friends, and she was like, I'm done with Game of Thrones. And I was like, well, it's kind of late for that. There's 3 episodes left. You've been watching from the beginning. She's like, it's just so Hollywood. And then I had to like talk her down from it. And she's like, yeah, you're right. Oh yeah, I didn't realize that. But she's like, but Sam? Really? And I'm like,
so I have a pretty big theory as to that, but we'll get to it later. But I did think that, like, you know, as we're setting up for the battle and then Melisandre comes in, was kind of this perfect scene. We get her back. Somehow she just marches through the army of the dead. Don't know how she did that with her horse.
Anybody question that?
Yeah, that was weird. But no, it's like kind of this perfect setup to hype up the Dothraki. She lights up their swords, which also served as a perfect lighting tool. Thanks for that, Melisandre. And like gives us hope, and then they march off, and then they immediately just all die.
Smothered.
And get extinguished like one by one, and you're just like,
which apparently like fucked up the whole plan, because Dany was supposed to like stay back.
Right. She was supposed to go light up the perimeter.
But she's like, no, these are my people.
Yeah.
Which I think was probably a smarter move on her part, because it got her out in the battle earlier. They were supposed to hold back for like the Night King and stuff too. Like, you know, they had their priorities or whatever. But
the Night King.
It is like you know, these are pretty useful dragons in this battle. It'd be nice to have them out like doing stuff. Them. I know you don't want to like lose anymore, but
I was actually just mad that the Dothraki were out front to begin with, like, because nobody ever sends their cavalry in first. I'm just like, wow, no, they don't go first. Like, you have them like on the flanks, or you know, something else, like to follow up the initial charge, but you don't send them out first.
Who do you
That's
think
poor
should have
planning.
gone first?
It would have been like the Unsullied, like the infantrymen.
You send your cavalry before your men on foot, for sure.
Have you seen like medieval battle scenes?
Yes.
Like, they never send them the cavalry first.
Why would you send your Unsullied against other... Well, whatever.
Well, I mean, they're white zombie creatures, but like traditional battle, I don't know.
You absolutely would send your cavalry first.
Bet.
I just
we'll
feel
look this
like
up later.
they wouldn't have settled for being anywhere.
But the front?
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing. They're like the best warriors that you have.
You're gonna Unsullied.
They're on horses, so you would think that they would do a lot more against these whites, but they just marched into death. Yeah, and then Jorah kind of riding back and shaking his head at Tormund was like, oh shit.
Jorah, my theory is he went up and then just immediately turned around.
Yeah.
He got back real quick.
Yeah, that like sets it up for just absolute terror, which continues for the next 70 or so minutes. Well, and then, so I did want to talk about that, though. Like, you're talking about why are the Dothraki in front. The whole thing, like, it looks really dramatic, but, like, Brienne, Jaime, Podrick, Sam, why the fuck are these people on the front lines? Like, just go in the back where you belong. Sam needs to be up on the walls, like, not down in front.
Sam needs to be in the crypt, no offense.
No shit. Like, he was a brother of the Night's Watch, but, like, let's...
He gave away
Sam
his
honestly
weapon.
has no business being in the front.
No.
The other
No.
folks I can see,
And-
because, I mean, they're leading their respective charges. That's where you want your leaders to be,
Yeah, at
so
least,
other
like,
people
Jaime
can
and
see
Brienne
and everything.
have
But
business being up there, but a lot of other people did not.
yeah, Sam, you ain't
And,
doing
like, Ghost,
shit
too.
up there.
I'm just like, get that boy out of there.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too, because it's not like Ghost was ever with. I have a feeling that, like, no one even acknowledged Ghost this entire time. I feel like they were just like, oh, hey, let's just throw him in this scene. He looks good here. There's room here. I don't understand.
He charges in with the Dothraki, and then we never see him again. But, yeah, we'll talk about that, too.
Why
That's
wouldn't
like
he
we
be
lose-
at Winterfell, though? I feel like he'd be protecting... I just felt like he
You know, like hanging out with Bran or something. Like,
yes.
he'd probably protect Bran a hell of a
Yeah,
lot more
yeah,
than
but-
Theon can. But
Yeah. Speaking of Bran, just not doing shit. When he starts warging, I was like, oh, he's gonna warg into the Ice Dragon. He's gonna warg into Ghost. He's gonna warg into fucking anything besides a goddamn raven and just fly around for a bit.
Yeah.
like, and there's nobody even around he can share like this tactical information with, you know? Like,
I mean,
I saw they were on the Eastern Front. Send your, you know, like, no, you were by yourself.
Yeah.
If you're like, it's 50-50,
Theon,
I'm gonna
like-
die, maybe you want to go watch or something. Like, I don't know, man. That was just like, oh, you really are that useless.
Yeah, my first thing I have written down is, what the fuck is Bran's purpose? Like,
No one knows.
I have scoured my mind, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
safer
what
telling
is
John,
it?
you know, he's really a Targaryen. Now I'm just like, I don't know if you
Well,
have any other.
I do want to remind
point.
you that he gave Arya the Valyrian steel dagger that she used to kill the Night King. So I do kind of think that he knew that was coming. And, like, all that bits with Theon and stuff like that, that, like, all was to give her time, his, like, weird
course.
staring match. But he's mostly useless. Like, I think he knew something about it, but, like, you know, share with the class, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, so his like powers are like he can go back and see, but like he doesn't have any like you know, like foresight, right?
Well, we don't know. We don't know the
he
extent
said
of
he
his
doesn't,
powers,
right?
and I don't think
thought-
that he does either.
Yeah, because he was just like, well, I don't know if that'll work.
Yeah.
I don't hate him, but of course, I don't hate anyone on the show. Like, I'd be lying. Like, I'm
Except for
completely
Joffrey.
invested in all of these characters. Well,
I did like Danny and John flying around for a long time. Like, they burnt up some whites, and then they just got lost in a blizzard for a long time too, and was like, oh, you guys aren't being as useful as you could be either.
I have a question about that. Who took down the Night King?
What?
Was it Drogon?
Oh, so
Dragon.
Rhaegal. So that was John's dragon. That was a little bit later. Rhaegal takes down Viserion.
Okay.
Well, we think he kills Viserion. It looks like he gets the Night King onto the ground. And then Rhaegal's kind of fucked up from it. So that's when you see him drop Jon as well. And that's when
Right.
Dany runs in and like her little Dracarys moment. Which she is just like smirking and thinks that's gonna work. It's burning up
It's-
her
come
enemies
on.
as her MO, and
I get it, but I was like, fly away.
Right, you can also maybe like get
Why
out
are you
of there.
touching down?
I feel
yeah,
like we're
kinda-
moving ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, before that though, like as it's starting to turn, I like that moment with Arya and Sansa when she sends her down to the crypts, and they have a little callback like. She's like, I don't know how to use this. Like, stick them with the pointy end. Like, you know, you'll figure it out in the moment. Trust me.
I am the #1 Sansa fan.
Yeah.
I cannot
She has some great
get
moments
over
later in
it.
this episode,
I can't
too.
get over her.
And then Ed, Dolores Ed, was our first death, I believe. Our first big name death.
character death.
Yeah.
And because
Saving
of Sam.
Sam.
God. I was like, he's like, Sam